Israel is the only blessed, prosperous country in the Middle East. I, as a Jew, I'm going to quote you from the Muslims' Quran. It says, all blessings and good things come from Allah, God. I ask you, why does Allah, God, bless Israel massively, but the countries around are not blessed?
Content over everything.
If you two work hard and trust in God, you could be as successful as the Jews.
Okay, I'm from Iraq. Can I say Saudi Arabia is my country because my prophet is from there?
No, because your Quran does not say so.
Where is it?
But in the Quran, it does say the Jews will return.
It say banish you.
Okay.
God will banish you. In the Quran it says.
Iraq, why have they invaded Kurdistan?
Very well.
Why are they attacking the Kurdish people in North Iraq?
The Muslims are killing Muslims all over the world. Muslim Iraq, Shia Muslims.
Why the Iraqi government is attacking the Kurdish people in North Iraq?
Yep.
They are not
The Muslims are killing each other.
They are in their country and they are serving their land. Why you attacking Kurdish? Why you attacking
Lebanon,
Kirkuk?
It's our Iraq.
No, it's involvement. It's involvement with
So how can you say?
Come on, man.
Okay,
Afghanistan.
You're talking about
Wait.
in
You
northern
say
Nigeria.
Palestine, some of the land
Yeah.
has been invaded
It's sad.
by the Israeli
Do you know
government.
the
Yeah.
Quran,
Okay.
which
It's the
is a
same issue in
great book,
Kurdistan.
No.
it says,
You guys have invaded
do
the
not
land.
set up sects of Islam.
Okay,
But
please,
what have
okay,
they
Go
done?
and back and
They
read
set
about
up
Kurdish
sects of
who
Islam.
they are.
Kurdish.
And
They are
now
Kurdish in
those
Turkey. I know.
sects
You're
are
welcome.
killing
You are
each
on my
other.
head. You are my brother. Doesn't matter. But
Allah
you don't
says,
understand what's something.
if you go
I
against the
prepare-
Quran, you will have a life of hardship.
I know you are a
And that's
community
exactly
and you need
what is
a land
happening
and I'm with you.
in the Muslim world.
Yeah.
They are killing
No,
each
but you are
other
different. You are four countries. How you can say that?
because they are going against
No.
the
Read the
Quran.
history.
No, read the history.
Why don't you go ask the British government to see whether
No, British government. Listen.
Quran's a good book.
There's
Take your advice from Allah.
There is a Turkish.
Trust
there is
Allah.
Arabs. There is
Don't
Kurdish.
bow
and
down
Turkish.
to Hamas.
Put
Don't
Arabs
bow
and
down
take
to
them
Al
and
Are
Qaeda.
you better
Don't bow down to
Masoud
ISIS.
Barzani? Are you better than him?
Trust in
How
God.
he signed? How he signed? He said Kirkuk is not Kurdish.
The Quran
He
says
said
so.
Kirkuk and he
In the
signed
Quran,
for this.
no, not all of them. Some of them follow their Quran. God bless them. In the Quran, chapter 5, verse 30, Muhammad says, and in that time, I will say to Allah, the Muslims have abandoned the Quran. And that's exactly what's happened. Allah, Muhammad got it right.
The Quran.
Chapter 5, verse 30, if you want to
understand
double check it.
For example,
I never heard of this,
Muslim
never
people
heard.
don't.
No, you don't. So many Muslims only believe the bits that they like and they ignore the bits that they don't like so much.
Yeah, I know. Like when God
Yeah.
will punish you, you forget about it.
No,
Like
we
you.
don't forget about it. In
Yeah.
the past,
Oh, God.
do you know you're right? He's right. If you read the Jewish Torah, you can find that when the Jews were good, God blessed them. When they went against God, God punished them. Time and time again. You can learn from the. We've learned now. It took 2,500 years, but we've learned. You too can learn from that. When you obey God,
God
things go well
said
for
that's
you.
well
If you go
because
against
you
God,
are the killer
you get
of the
punished.
prophets. You are a killer of
Yeah.
the prophets. Not only Jesus. You killed a lot
That's
of
what I
prophets.
said. In the past, yes. Now we've learned from it.
You don't kill anymore.
People you kill in Palestine. What about all the stealing of
Israel
the
only ever
land?
kills in self-defense.
Okay.
Israel's never started a war.
What about
But
all the land
when
next to
Israel's
it?
attacked, Israel defends itself very, very well.
But no, wait. What about when you go to people's houses and turf them out of their houses so that Jewish people
they
can
in the
move
house.
in?
Actually, that doesn't quite happen.
It
But
is. Explain it to
Israel
me.
does
Yeah.
sometimes demolish Palestinian homes,
No, they go
and that's
in.
wrong.
Okay.
And those people will get punished one day by God.
So I'm interested. So the video I watched on YouTube the other day of an old lady in her 90s being thrown out of her house so a Jewish family can move in, that was all made up, was it?
I haven't seen that thing, but generally I say so. The reasons why Israel demolishes houses is if they're built
This
without
guy,
a
he never
permit,
means
or
anything.
if it's
No,
the
we can't
home
argue
of
with
a
him.
suicide bomber. When a suicide
That's
bomber
rubbish.
blows himself up, Israel's policy is to destroy the home that he used to live in. And they got that from the British government who used to run Palestine. That's what the British did.
The British government.
That's what they did to the Kurdish
Yes,
people.
but Israel kept that law on the statute books.
Yeah, corrupt paedophiles. That's it.
And they're just
Now, I've got a badge here which says, Israel, stop building on Arab land. Yep, absolutely. Israel's been given Israel, the Arabs have given their land, and it's wrong for the Israelis to go and build on Arab land.
Now you've got the land, you need to say that, yeah.
Those Jews who used to live there on what's now the Arab land, who were kicked out in 1948. In 1948, when the United Nations partitioned the land, there were Jews living in the part given to the Arabs, and they were killed or kicked out by the Arabs. I'm quite happy for Jews to go back to the land that they own. But too many have gone back to land they don't own, and that's wrong.
So if I was Jewish and my granddad used to live in Israel, could I move to Israel tomorrow?
You can apply to make Alex move there, yes. Every country in the world has its own immigration policies.
So if that house there, my granddad used to live there, but now Palestinians live there, I can chuck them out and take that house.
Well, if your parents used to live there, then those Palestinians there illegally. When the Jordanians invaded on behalf of the Palestinians, they gave away, they occupied the land which Jews used to live in, and they gave away the Jews' houses to Arabs. Some of those Jews are buying back their own properties. They're not taking, they are buying them back at very high prices.
So one day then all the Palestinians are going to come back and they're going to kick all your asses, kick you all out of your
No,
houses
I'll
and
tell you
take
what's
them
happened.
back.
The Israeli government has said, when there's a peace deal,
Why do you keep
hang on,
laughing?
try listening, try listening, Madam March. It's a
Don't
good
imagine
question.
me, I'm not a prostitute.
Okay, yeah, well, Madam doesn't mean for prostitutes, but anyway, it's a good question.
God, you're a smart
The Israeli
arse, you.
government says, all those Palestinians who've got properties they own, when there's a peace deal, they will either be able to return to their property or they will get good money in compensation. I think that's a pretty good
What
deal.
about all the farms you destroy, all the trees, everything else?
That's another
Shooting
thing. Hang on.
farmers while
I'm
they're at
glad you
work.
raised that. In the Torah, it says, even in a war, you must not
After
cut down
Holocaust,
fruit trees.
detained
So
children,
it's wrong for them to
women,
do that.
children.
What they generally do, they uproot the fruit. If they want to build a barrier there, defensive barrier, they uproot the olive tree and plant it somewhere else.
Rubbish, I've seen them bulldozing
and
But
them.
some of them get bulldozed, and that's wrong.
about the fishermen
And you're right
then?
to mention it.
What
Pardon?
about the fishermen that are just going out and getting some fish and then
Okay,
the boat comes
I'll
along and starts
answer
shooting at the
that.
boat?
When there was peace under Yasser Arafat, who was not, I'm not a fan of his, but he kept a bit of law and order, the Palestinian fishermen from Gaza could go out a long way and fish. But when Hamas took control of Gaza by force, then Israel put restrictions on it, on the border of the land and the sea and the air. And Israel told them, when you sign a deal saying you'll stop attacking our civilians, you will again be able to fish out much further. So the answer is, tell Hamas to guarantee they will
Why don't
stop
you
killing
go
Israeli
and tell
civilians.
Hamas? If
Oh, I
Israel was
do,
so great,
I
why are
do,
you here?
I do. But because so many Europeans follow Hamas, Hamas are emboldened. Oh, Europeans agree with us. I'm afraid you're not helping the Palestinians by supporting
I'm
Hamas.
just asking, I never said I supported Hamas. I never said that
No,
once.
no, no, not you personally,
But-
but Europeans, many Europeans do. Palestine Solidarity Campaign, many trade unions and others
Israel
support Hamas.
It's so great.
Because if Hamas was
Why
It
are
is
you
great.
here? Why are you not there? If it's so
Because
great, why are you
Britain is
here?
great as well. I was born in Britain, all my relations in Britain. The Holocaust didn't affect me, so I'm happy to live in Britain and have my holidays in Israel. Yep,
So you want cake and eat it, basically.
I'm lucky, yes. Yes, it's good to have your cake and eat it, yes. One day Palestinians will have their cake and eat it. There are Palestinians who've got British passports. One day they'll be able to live in, do what I do. They're going to have their holidays in Palestine and come back to their life in Britain as well. Or if the Palestinian government is as good as the Israeli government, they're going to migrate back to a Palestinian area.
So you are English.
I'm English,
You are
British
a
passport.
very disgraceful English man. You're embarrassing.
I most people I meet say, well done, you put a good case
No.
for Israel and Palestine. But some
They're-
people are
they're
against me.
opposite terrorist supporters.
No, the
People
terrorists
don't know the
are
real
the
facts.
suicide bombers and
No,
the people who
only
attack
terrorists
civilians.
are lying. The
Like
ones
they
that
do
are
in
the only
London
terrorists in
and
the world, the
Manchester,
only true terrorists
where they kill
lying.
civilians. They are the terrorists, not people like me who are against it.
Brainwashed. You're
Stage
screwed in the
and
head.
You don't need to be
seriously.
brainwashed to say that killing children at a pop concert in Manchester is bad.
But what about all the
I think
children
it's
that
bad.
get
Do you
shot
think
and
it's
slaughtered
bad?
every single day in Palestine
Do you
and
think it was
denying
bad
happening?
when they killed those children at the pop concert? Yes or
How
no?
can you think that's bad? When
You should have said yes
Israel-
straight away.
Oh, shut up.
She didn't say
Israel-
yes straight away.
So what?
And Hamas knows there's
flag.
people like you
False flag.
who will
Don't
cover
point
up
at
for
me.
them.
False
Who
flag.
will
That's
cover up for
9/11
them.
inside job.
And the police, who got stabbed on London Bridge and outside Parliament. Was that wrong? No, like most Palestinian supporters, you won't answer.
No,
Everyone else will say yes, it was bad. But you won't, you won't. So we are.
And waving your hands in my face. It's
You're
rude.
allowed to point.
Am
She
I a
supports
terrorist?
them.
Of course I'm
She
not a
supports
terrorist.
them. She supports them.
Why should I answer him though?
Because people would
Because
draw
he's-
their own
he's a
conclusions.
terrorist. Israel's a
People
terrorist
would
state.
draw
We
their own
all know that.
conclusions.
Yes, it is.
You did not
Yes, it
condemn
is.
the terrorist attacks in London on Manchester when civilians and police were killed.
Any innocent
I
life
asked
is
you
not
several
right.
times and you wouldn't condemn it. You must be a friend of Jerry Corbyn's,
Indeed, yeah.
who says, Hamas are my friends, Hezbollah are my friends. Do you know the Prime Minister of Lebanon has resigned because he fears Iranians are going to assassinate him? There's Hezbollah are Iranian proxy in Lebanon. Jeremy Corbyn's friends. Yeah. I feel sorry for Lebanon. Lebanon was a democracy until Hezbollah with Iranian help got involved. Now it's a mess. Lebanon used to be the Switzerland of the Middle East. Sadly, they got embroiled in the conflict between the Sunnis and the Shia. Still, it didn't work out all right at the end.
Honestly, don't believe Israel do anything wrong at all.
You didn't listen to a word I said.
you're not listening
I went
to
through
me. You
all the
butt in
things
every
that
time.
Israel
You don't
did
let
wrong,
anybody finish
and now
what
she's
they're
pretending
saying.
I say Israel's done nothing wrong,
I didn't-
even though I went through the things that Israel's done wrong.
Right, but what
Bizarre.
about when you
This
kill
is their
people?
mentality.
No,
Their
don't
mentality.
insult me.
Anything which doesn't suit what they want to believe, they quickly forget.
Who's
Even
they?
though 5 minutes ago I
Who
went
is
through the
they?
things Israel did wrong, she said, and you say Israel does nothing wrong. Pathetic.
No, you're saying that Israel isn't
With
terrorist
friends like
state.
this, Palestinians have got their mirror equivalent of them themselves. They're just like you. They believe what they want to believe and they ignore what doesn't suit them.
No, I believe as a British person, we had no right to give Palestine away. No right at all. And
We
any
didn't.
decent
We
British
didn't.
person would
All we
defend
did
Palestine
was we
now.
allowed Jews to migrate to the ancient homeland.
They didn't
We
migrate,
didn't give
they
it
left
away.
out of Europe.
We allowed them
Literally
to
destroyed
migrate
the land
there.
and the people.
No one in Europe
So,
wanted them.
would you like to? Yeah, they did.
No, they bloody didn't. That's why they went
did.
there.
So, are you against Australia?
Yes, we
Right,
have no
went
right.
there.
We have no right to take Australia, America, none of those countries. None of
Okay.
them. They're all stolen land.
So all those Arab Muslims go to America and Australia. Are they doing what they say the Jews shouldn't have done? They say the Jews shouldn't have come here, but they're up against Australia and New Zealand and America, aren't they?
But
yeah,
so did the
there is
Westerners.
two-faced as
The
you are.
Westerners went there.
There is two
I
faced
think
as
you're a
you
very
are.
knowledgeable man.
I am,
but
yes,
seriously,
luckily.
You are a little bit screwed up.
I'm not screwed up
Yes,
at all.
no, you are.
That's why you can't find any fault in what I say.
Can't find any
Find
fault.
plenty of fault.
That's
you want
correct.
me to say that I support Hamas, right? You want me to say
No,
that?
I asked you. You could have answered. You chose not
She did
to.
answer. She said no.
No, I'll ask her again. Was those terrorist attacks on the children in Manchester, killing police in the
That wasn't
London
anything
Bridge?
to do with
I
that,
said,
was it?
would you condemn it? And you didn't. I give you another chance. Do you condemn those suicide attacks in Manchester against the children at the pub concert and the civilians and police in London? Yes or no?
No, any loss of innocent life is wrong.
Why didn't you say that earlier?
What? Because you don't give people a chance. You interrupt.
I
Right
gave
now,
you
you're
several
interrupting
chances.
again.
I
You
gave
can't
you
let
several
anybody get a whole
chances.
sentence
I
out
gave you
before
several
you have to
chances,
interrupt.
and you now, for the first time, have answered. Good.
Right.
I'm very glad.
Good. Do I get a sticker?
No. You should feel good for being honest.
Sikkim, if the Hamas is not there, then
I
who
feel
is fighting
good
in this
for
case?
loving all the Palestinian people.
And so do I.
And
I come here saying, Freedom for Palestine when they make peace
Yes.
with Israel.
No, not when
I
they
want
make
them to
peace
make
with
peace with
Israel.
Israel, stop attacking Israel, and get their independence.
Israel needs to
That's what I
go to
say.
Palestinians
That's what I
crawling
say.
on their knees,
Good.
begging for forgiveness.
No, they're not. All they're going to do is agree to stop killing civilians in Israel.
Yes.
What's the big deal about that? What's the big deal about that?
The children and the kids of Palestine.
No, they're not.
Yes, that's a
No,
lie.
they're not.
You're barefaced
They
lying.
defend themselves
You speak
from
very
anyone
well, but
who
you're
attacks them.
uneducated. You're blind. You're
They
deaf, dumb,
defend
and blind.
themselves.
Deaf, dumb, and
The
blind.
problem
You
is
speak very well,
Hamas
but you don't know anything.
recruits child soldiers. Hamas recruits child soldiers, and she doesn't condemn that. Sad.
On the beach.
So, Israel's a great little country. If you don't know whether it's or not, go visit Israel. You can fly there with the EasyJet, £200 return, and find out what Israel's really like. When you go to Israel, you'll see the street signs are in Hebrew and Arabic.
And English as well.
And English as well. There are two official languages in Israel, Hebrew and Arabic. In the Israeli parliament, there are Jews and Arabs. On the Israeli Supreme Court, there are Jews and Arabs. In the army, there are Jews and Arabs, nearly.
Are you with Israel?
And in the police, there are
you with
Jews and
Israel?
Arabs.
Are you with Israel?
No, I'm here in London, like you are.
Do you like Israel?
I love Israel.
Well, you're stupid. You're a donkey.
He thinks I'm a donkey. How many legs has a donkey got? And he walked away in true third world fashion. So, Israel is the only functioning democracy in the Middle East. Israel is the only blessed, prosperous country in the Middle East. I, as a Jew, I'm going to quote you from the Muslims' Quran. It says, all blessings and good things come from Allah, God. I ask you, why does Allah, God, bless Israel massively, but the countries around are not blessed? Why is that? When all blessings and good things come from Allah, not from America, not from Britain, not from the European Union, from Allah. Why is Allah blessing Israel, but not the countries around? Anyone like to answer?
Because the people in the Middle East, they fucked up themselves.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
That's the
Absolutely
truth.
right.
The man raised a good point. That's the truth.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. I'm not against the Arabs. I want the Arabs to have a
Nobody
good
should
life.
Those
I want
people
them
in the
nice
Middle
countries.
East, they fucked up themselves.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
The Arab Rising. Who made the Arab Rising? Who made the Arab Rising?
The people themselves, they knew their governments were crap. They knew their religious leaders were crap. They wanted to overthrow them. They want to be like Europe, with a nice democracy and human rights and freedom of speech. But unfortunately, they screwed up, except in Tunisia. Tunisia is a nice moderate country where Jews are safe. It's no surprise to me that a country which looks after its Jews, like Tunisia does, it gets more blessings than the other countries which are against the Jews. All they're going to do, get democracy, equality for women, freedom of speech, and they could be like the West. One day they will be. In the past, during the golden age of Islam, when they had good religious leaders, the Muslim world was the best place on the planet. And the Christian world, where they went against their Christian gospels, was low down. We were living in the dark ages. But since then it's changed round. The Christians have become better, the Muslims have become worse. So I'm not against Islam. We can see that when Islam is followed correctly, you can have a good life. So, Balfour Declaration didn't give land away. All they did, they allowed Jews to migrate to their ancient homeland. Just like the Quran said. Just like the Christian Gospels say. Just like the Jewish Torah says. What's the big deal? If you don't like Balfour, you shouldn't like God. But the Muslims say, Allahu Akbar, God is great. If you really believe God is great, then follow his Quran and let the children of Israel return, as their Quran says so. Chapter 17, verse 104, if you want to check it for yourself. And if you can't remember that, when you get home tonight, go onto Google or whatever search engine you use, type in, does Quran say Jews will return? And it will take you to chapter 17, verse 104. And if you want to know whether the Christians say the Jews should go back, do the same thing. Luke chapter 21, verse 24. Jesus was a prophet. He made a prophecy. I'll read out what it says about the Jews. They will fall to the sword. They will be taken captive to all the nations. Jerusalem will be trampled on by the Gentiles until the time the Gentiles are fulfilled. And all four things happened. They did fall to the sword. The Romans took the land. They were taken captive. They were spread by the Romans all around the world. Jerusalem was trampled on by the Gentiles. The Romans, the Muslims, the Crusaders, the Muslims again, until the time the Gentiles are fulfilled. Yes, Jews now control Jerusalem again. So Jesus got it right. And if you're a Christian who follows Jesus, you should accept the fact that the Jews are supposed to go back, and they have done.
Madam, go away, you sick.
Get rid of Israel.
Only Palestine.
Yes, you've said that many times.
Palestine.
How are you going to get rid of
No
Israel?
Israel.
No Israel.
No.
No Israel.
No.
He's not going to answer the question.
You liar.
Because he knows more than you.
Liar.
He can't answer the question
Liar,
about
you
how
donkey.
is he going to get rid of Israel.
Only Palestine.
Israel's
Only
there to stay.
Palestine.
Israel's not going to go away.
Only Palestine. And everybody same you rubbish own country.
I'm not rubbish. Do you know, every Western
Rubbish.
democracy has diplomatic relations with Israel.
Rubbish.
So, you haven't got many friends,
Rubbish.
but there are dictatorships in the third world
Rubbish,
who,
you
who agree with
donkey.
you, who, like the Iranian government.
Only Palestine. And you rubbish.
So when is this going to happen?
And Netanyahu rubbish.
When is this going to happen?
And Obama rubbish.
Obama's not the president
فين
anymore.
اللب يا عم الحاج؟
There's Donald Trump there now.
Iran is a first world country, not a third world. Get your
Iran's
facts
a
right.
third world country. In Iran, allowed to leave the country unless you get to homosexuality is punishable by death. One of the craziest, homosexual of the tallest building in the city. Do you like that?
It's not my business.
In Iran, if you're a Kurd,
Liar.
if you're a Kurd, you're not allowed to speak the English
Liar يا
language.
نتنياهو يا واطي.
In Iran, only
Liar, ya
Muslims,
rubbish.
Jews, and Christians can go to university.
You
The
speak
Bahai
rubbish.
who live in Iran are not allowed to go to the Iranian universities. In Iran, only 3 religions are allowed. So the Bahai had to move their headquarters out of Iran to the nearest safe country.